Hi everyone. This is Admiral Timothy Richards here, and no, this isn't the Glora episode. I'm sure you've noticed that by now, but so something happened last night. I was going to bed at the lovely hour of like 12 in the morning last night, and this video popped up in my recommendations. If you didn't know, this is by the YouTube channel Curious Archive, who is one of the best channels in speculative biology out there, and one of my principal inspirations for the Yamanagawa project. And last night, he posted a video on No Man's Sky, which, if you couldn't tell, is what my channel is all about. So, I got really excited, because, I mean, it's one of my biggest inspirations for this channel, making a No Man's Sky video. I want to see what it's all about. So I thought maybe I could do a reaction video, just looking at what he did for his video, and see on it, maybe make some comments and see what happens. Glora is coming. I'm still working on the project, of course, on the video. It's just, there's a couple complications with it. One of them being, if you couldn't tell, I am sick right now. So, it's a little hard to record voiceover. I'm still gonna do it. I'm probably gonna do some later today after I make this video, but in the meantime, I thought I could just do a quick video reacting to this so you guys still have an interesting video to see. This video is entirely unscripted. It's just me reacting to this. I'm just going to be rambling on. It's going to be minimally edited, probably. Just going to be edited down so that it's cut to the parts that I think are interesting. Like, just only the parts where I comment. If you want to go watch this video, I'll link it below. Please go check out Curious Archive. Curious Archive, if you happen to be watching this, you are amazing. You are awesome. You are an inspiration. You are one of my principal inspirations for this channel. You're amazing. Thank you. So, I've never seen this video before. I've seen, like, the first 3 minutes. I got, like, 3 minutes into the video before I thought, you know, maybe I could make a reaction video to this for Yamanagawa. So, I've seen, like, the first 3 minutes. I haven't seen the rest of it. So, I've seen, like, little maybe snapshots, just a little bit, but that's just blah, blah, blah. So, I pretty much haven't seen the rest of this video, so this is just going to be me reacting, for the most part, just to his new stuff. So, without further ado, let's get into it, see what happens. Here's the button.
Across the infinite cosmos of the video game No Man's Sky, there are a similarly infinite number of alien life forms. Through the use of procedural generation, the game contains more than 18 quintillion planets to discover, many of which teem with extraordinary creatures. While No Man's Sky had a rocky reception at launch, the developers have done persistent work making this virtual universe worth exploring. So, for this entry into the archive, we'll embark on a classic documentary-style expedition, exploring the lives of extraterrestrials on scorching worlds, frozen wastelands, and many others.
Ooh.
I'll also speculate on how the biology of each life form might feasibly work. I admit that there are a few too many total planets for this archivist to document.
Just a few.
So this documentary will focus on only the most interesting ones I've discovered. Now, let's set off into the unknown and see what awaits us amongst the stars. Near the equator. We can see a vast land.
That is a very pretty planet he's found. It actually reminds me of a couple planets I've found, which I might cover one day, but it looks like it's like a grassland planet. So this is part of what I've seen before I reacted, and I was actually thinking about it last night. And I think I may have figured out a potential history for this planet. I don't know what he's going to say about it, but I would say maybe perhaps there was a recent mass extinction, and all the large plants went extinct, hence why it's like widely grasslands. But, yeah. Where's the button? There it is.
Landscape of green fields stretching before us. Under the orbiting rings above, who knows what extraterrestrial giraffe. A life form whose long neck helps them reach leaves at the tops of trees. Yet there are no trees in this region of planet Rhea, so why bother with such a long neck? Perhaps a tree-like genus recently went extinct, or perhaps the necks serve as watchtowers to keep an eye out for potential dangers.
I actually really like that. Like, there's an alternate explanation for why a creature might have a long neck, because usually when you think of long necks on creatures, your first instinct is to think, oh, it's probably because they eat trees. They, like, you have to have the long necks to reach up into the trees. But it's interesting because, like, if he came up with another explanation, like, potentially maybe it's just used to keep a watch out for predators, which I really like. That's really creative. I love that. I don't know. Is there a creature on Earth that's something like that's happened? I don't know. Interesting. I really, really like that. That's cool.
And speaking of potential dangers, a huge armor on right and a serious danger upon these planes. With our different evolutionary origins, it's likely I wouldn't be very tasty to an arachnomantis.
Just a small comment. I like how it just has, as he was saying it looked like let me go back just a second. Like
Evolutionary origins, it's likely I
just as he was saying it looks like he's about the thing's about to like pounce on him.
wouldn't be very tasty to an voyage across planet Rhea. We'll be traveling in a terrestrial exocraft called a roamer. This vehicle will offer protection as we continue to explore this unfamiliar land. Plus, it's nice to not have to walk for the entire voyage.
That's true. That's why we have Fluffy.
Not far from our roamer, their unique pattern of stripes help them blend into their environment, and the spines on their back help them disappear even further.
Okay, I love how he incorporated the spines. Like, it makes them kind of looks like grass. Like, honestly, one thing I've always kind of been meh about in No Man's Sky's creatures is just I don't like the. Let me get to a different thing here. I don't really like the cat type creatures very much. They're not my favorite. There's a better shot. Excuse me. Just, I don't know, I think they're too reminiscent of Earth creatures, for one thing, and also just, honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still cool, but mammals are probably, you know, among the least interesting of creatures on Earth to me. Maybe that's just because I'm a mammal, but they're still really interesting, but I feel like if you want to, I just feel like the cat creatures in No Man's Sky aren't alien enough. But that being said, Curious Archive has done a great job incorporating, like, the creature's appearance physiology into the planet around it. Like, if you look, I love, like, a lot of, the one thing I found weird about the No Man's Sky cats is that they've got, like, these big spines on top. It's a little weird. I mean, it's not a big deal. I guess it makes them feel more alien. I guess that's fine, but still, it's a little weird. But I love how Curious Archive incorporated the spines into it. Is like they're supposed to look like grass to add extra camouflage to the thing. That is a genius idea.
Help them disappear even further. And this dread tooth has got the scent of something. The sun is now setting on planet Rhea. Yet with the night comes a final surprise.
They glow.
The arachnomantis, while a fearsome predator during the daylight, lights up the dark with a bioluminescent display as it calls out to others of its kind. This ritual, which might be for mating purposes, is a touching one for such a deadly creature.
One thing I really love is that how he's incorporating the how he's incorporating the footage, how he's tying the footage to the dialogue. Like, he's talking about, like, the creature calling, and it's actually calling. The thing is, like, No Man's Sky creatures honestly, they don't do as much as Earth creatures do. So, when I, like, talk about an idea I had, like, some kind of, like, thing they do, like, let me think, what's an example? I can't remember if there was anything in, like, this in, oh yeah, so, like, in Cryon, my last video, if you remember the, what were they called? The Cryovores. I mentioned that they hibernate through the worst of storms, which they hibernate for a couple minutes because the storms only last so long. But the thing is, the actual creatures in No Man's Sky don't do that. That's the problem. They don't actually hibernate, so it's hard to get a footage of them that looks like hibernating. It looks like here he's kind of, I am commending him for that, because he's kind of being more, cautious with what he says, I think, just so that he can get video footage that looks like it ties to the dialogue better, which so far I have not been super duper ultra smultra great with in my channel. Hopefully I'm gonna get better at that, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I really like that. It's really cool.
Is a touching one for such a deadly creature. We've seen much during our travels on our voyage. Planet Bereas lies on the outer edge of its star's habitable.
Just one more tangent here. So far, I love the names you've chosen for Planet Rhea and Boreas. I mean, I guess the only thing about Planet Rhea is also the name of a very violent. Is it Australian, or is that the emu? I'm not sure, but it's the name of a really violent. Or maybe not. It's the name of a ratite, which is a little weird, but I still love the name. I think it's pretty. It's a pretty name. Oops.
Most planet.
It's a pretty name, and I really love it. It's just, I feel I could really imagine a real planet being named that, and then Boreas itself, which we've just entered. I could really. These are some really good names, and these are just really cool names. That's just what I'm getting across here.
Lies on the outer edge of its star's habitable zone. Entering the atmosphere, I find a land trapped in a never-ending winter.
I love how he incorporated the habitable zone. That's honestly something I should do more. Talk about like where in the habitable zone these planets fall.
Combined, one might expect to find life.
There's life everywhere.
Yet life is here all the same.
Whoa.
This is the snow snuffler, a life form perfectly adapted for a sub-zero lifestyle. Large, lumbering herbivore.
I love the name Snow Snuffler. I'm just gonna get that out there.
They're protected from the cold thanks to a thick layer of fat and insulating fur. Wrapping oneself, their trunks are equipped with scent receptors powerful enough to locate the subterranean vegetation the snow snufflers feed upon. So the snow snufflers have sniffed their way into an enviable spot on the food web.
Unrelated, but I love how Curious Archive words things. So, like this, look at this line here. So the snow snufflers have sniffled their way into an inviolable spot on the food web. I love how he words that. That's a really, really cool. He's just great at wording things. He knows what words are to get your attention. It seems he's just good at it. It's really cool. Also, these creatures are also very interesting. I love how like he incorporated the snufflers, or like they dig through snow. Is that a word, snuffle? They dig through the snow and like look for food with their. I think that's also a really ingenious idea. I love it, and also I love it. I wonder if this tail, or this sail also might have to do with their biology. I don't know about the tail, but the sail actually. Maybe the snow snufflers could use it to, like, absorb excess heat from the sun. That would be my idea. Like, what they could do is that, like, they sit up on, like, at, like, the hottest points of the day or, like, in the morning, and then just, like, they puff that up and let it absorb heat from the sun to give themselves a little excess warmth for the day. It's not super big because, like, a big sail would just lose more extra heat in a really cold environment, but that would be my idea. Or maybe it could be like a lump to store excess energy, because it's a cold, frozen over planet. So I guess food would be harder to come by. So they have like this lump of fat to store energy and maybe even to keep themselves warm. Perhaps maybe even it's like a pouch to store their young. Even there's an idea. But yeah, the tail. Not sure what. Maybe actually like if it was a pouch, like the young could. Crawl all down the back, down the tail, and then onto the ground once they've grown up. But you never, or maybe like they could like, their parents could climb onto the tail, and the parents could put them back on the tail, maybe even like fling them onto their backs. You never know. But this is a really interesting idea. I love the creatures he's discovered. This is cool.
But there's more than one way to survive on a planet of ice. Horned Chillmanders are some of the creatures that aren't as well.
Okay, I love that name. The Chillmanders. That beautiful. The Chillmanders. They're just pretty chill. I love it. It's beautiful.
Insulated from the cold. In Arctic Bereas, however, temperatures drop without warning year-round, which is why the Chillmanders.
Wait. What's this in the background? What's this kind of like? Do you see that? Like in the top right. What's this hobgoblin-looking thing? Because it's beautiful. Look at it. That's a really interesting. That's cool. I wonder if we'll cover that.
The Chillmanders are capable of slowing their metabolic rate multiple times per year. These lethargic life forms spend most of their time basking in the sun, expending precious little energy even when not hibernating.
I can see that kind of flap under their throat. I wonder if they use that to gain their energy during the sun. Like if they in the morning they bask and then they just flare that out like in a knoll or something, and that the sun hit that and warm them up. I wonder if they do that. That's something interesting. Also, it's interesting. It's a lizard, but it has mammalian ears. Maybe they use that to gather sun too. Look at that. That's cool.
It's a lifestyle I'm a bit jealous of, even if it's not the most exciting. A tall, somewhat awkward-looking predator.
I thought he said lump maws for a second. I thought it was okay. Lumberos. These are the things I talk about. These are actually really cool-looking creatures. Look. Another thing that I kind of find a little weird about No Man's Sky creatures is the pronated hands. Mostly because, I'm a stickler for more accurate dinosaurs, and if you look at the, if you look at dinosaurs, if you look at, the raptors from Jurassic Park, they always hold their hands like a kangaroo or like a bunny, which is completely inaccurate to what they think today. Now they think they hold it more to their sides, kind of like a bird, and I think, honestly, that looks better, creatures like these kind of look kind of awkward. Nothing, of course, that's not against Curious Archive, but, that's just a comment on No Man's Sky's creatures, but this is a cool looking predator. I wonder how he's gonna incorporate, I wonder how he's gonna incorporate it.
That spend most of their time reared up on their hind legs. On a planet as harsh as Bereas, being picky just isn't practical.
That's true.
I'm not entirely certain if they'd like the taste of me, so I'll give them some personal space.
Good idea.
Planet Bereas is an extreme and fascinating world. Our next galactic destination is planet Nehrus, home to an incredible planet-wide ocean.
Cool.
Entering the atmosphere, I find that only a few small islands break up the endless expanse of water.
So here's one thing I kind of want to comment on. This is one thing he's doing. He's kind of embellishing on No Man's Sky's internal systems a bit, because here's a shame. No Man's Sky, there's no such thing as a planet that is entirely water. They're all, large land masses and then water, or maybe just all land. There's no, all water planets, which is a shame. One thing I feel like No Man's Sky could improve upon is just, having a little more variety in its planets and creatures. Just a little more. But I do think, it is still really cool, don't get me wrong. If somehow, if someone from Hello Games is watching this, you're doing great. This is a beautiful game. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite, if not my all-time favorite game right now, if not ever, of all time. And, I feel like it's a shame that, No Man's Sky doesn't go super deep into it, doesn't go as deep into its, creatures and into, its, planets and stuff as it could. It's a little bit of a shame, I think. But that's why we come up with embellishments. That's why. So a lot of the stuff I put into my videos, when I talk about how creatures behave, is of course embellished because the creatures aren't really that detailed in the game. And honestly, it's kind of good because it gives me an opportunity to be creative and come up with new stuff and let out my creative side. But yeah, I think it would be cool if there was a little more interesting stuff. A full water planet would be good. Gas giants would be amazing. Imagine if you could land on a gas giant with floating bases with the that you could land on. Maybe floating islands, and all the creatures could fly. That would be cool if you could go inside a gas giant or something. That would be pretty cool, I think. And also, I think, more interesting things, more planets like Venus, where, the atmosphere is, always enveloped in smoke. Imagine a planet that's, so we have planets with extreme storms already. But, imagine a planet where, extreme storms are, 24/7. Imagine that. They never stop. Maybe occasionally, something new will have, a tornado will kick up or something, but just imagine, something like that. I think No Man's Sky could vary its plans a little bit more, but not a big deal. I still think they're really cool. But anyway, yeah, enough rambling on that.
Most life on planet Nehrus is likely waiting. I find some intrepid species have come ashore. At the water's edge, I spot a coastal shell swimmer.
I love it.
Amphibious herbivores.
Oh, isn't he cute? I love it. Look at his derpy little face. Look at his derpy little face. Look at that. It kind of looks like, you know what it looks like, the head? It kind of looks like that dragon from How to Train Your Dragon 2. What is it? What was it called? What was it called? I can't remember. What was Valka's dragon? Let me Google that quickly. What was it called? Cloud Jumper. Storm Cutter. That's it. Its head kind of looks like the Cloud Jumper from How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 3. It's like it's got that like kind of that same derpy look to it almost. It kind of does. It really does give me a How to Train Your Dragon. Or like the ears almost kind of make it look goblin-y. Doesn't it? Look at that. I wonder what they're gonna do. That's cool. Oh, actually, this gives me a perfect chance. One thing I feel like No Man's Sky also could do for its creatures is that I wish there were more amphibious creatures. Like, there's land creatures that do just swim out at sea, but they always stay out at sea. That's the problem. There's not a creature that, like, stays on land and then swims underwater and comes back up. I feel like that would be cool. And that's in the same vein as, like, flying creatures that occasionally land in trees or something, but that's neither here nor there. Alright, let's continue.
Edge, I spot a coastal shell swimmer. It's a lifestyle similar to the marine iguanas of the Galapagos Islands, which likewise spend most of their lifespan in the intertidal zone.
That's what I mean. There's not really creatures in No Man's Sky that, like, spend times in, like, say, quote, intertidal zones, unquote. In fact, tides in general aren't a thing in No Man's Sky, which I think would be cool. But, yeah, just a small comment there.
On planet Nehrus, even land dwellers are tied to the sea.
What, there's like a glowing deer in the background. Is he gonna cover that? Yeah! I knew it!
The bizarre glowhorns feed on coastal swamp grass.
Aren't these guys in the intro?
Appearance and behavior, glowhorns are convergent, yet the light of glowhorns can attract more than potential mates.
It's a dinosaur.
It can also attract predators, like creatures are huge, towering.
I just want to pause right here. One thing that's just like, I've not found too many of these sorts of creatures. Like, the Cryovore is really the only sort of, like, Tyrannosaur-esque creature I found. I know they're in No Man's Sky, but it's really the only Tyrannosaur-esque creature I found. I really need to find more of them, because these are really cool, and I like these.
Over all other land animals on these islands, it might seem surprising to see large creatures in an isolated ecosystem, yet this is actually an example of island gigantism.
I love how he's got, like, the dead... What did he call those? The deer things with the nose and the glowy bits. There's, like, a dead one in the center of that shot. Like, look at that. I love how it's, like, circling that. That's a great shot. I don't know if he got these personally or if he's, like, a friend recorded these. I'm assuming he got these personally, but that's a great shot. I love it.
A trend that exists on Earth as well in species like Komodo dragons. Island gigantism is a biological phenomenon in which a species on an island increases dramatically in size.
That is true.
For the Terrorbeaks, their massive bulk allows them to feed on any species they wish.
The only thing about that is, like, island gigantism, they get larger, but that presumes there's another land mass they came from in the first place. So, like, are there Terrorbeaks? Is there, like, a mainland that Terrorbeaks are just, like, dodo-sized creatures on, and then these are, like, the island gigantic versions? That's what I'm curious about.
Yet land animals only make up a small
behind him?
percentage of life on Nehrus. Diving under the waves, I find a much denser ecosystem awaits.
I love these little
The
fish.
first life forms I spot are the inquisitive, tentacled cephalophores.
Cephalophores, I love it. Aren't they cute? You know, I kind of want to adopt one. I want to name it. I will love him, and I will call him Squishy. And he is mine. I love my Squishy. Isn't he so cute? I love that.
That move in sporadic patterns in accordance to the ocean bodies and manipulatory tentacles resemble those of an octopus. And like octopuses, they're quite intelligent.
That's octopi!
Exactly how intelligent is difficult to measure, but they show an acute sense of curiosity.
I love the shots. He's a lot better at filmography than I am, I'm gonna be honest. I hope I can get better, but I have worked on the cinematography, not filmography. Blah, blah. I have worked on the cinematography a bit in Glora. I hope it's going to be better than it was in Cryon, because in my Cryon episode is a little to be desired. But I hope the next episode is better. But this is really good. He is really talented. This is really cool.
Around me as I swim by, I wonder if perhaps the cephalophores feel they are studying me.
Unrelated, that's like one of my favorite tropes in like sci-fi biology. Like, if it feels like the creatures that you're studying are more studying you. I don't know why, but I just feel it just really interests me. I like that trope.
The bulk of underwater species are silverfins.
Silverfins, pretty names. Okay, so here's one more thing I want to make a comment on No Man's Sky for. I feel like the oceans in the game in general need more of these small kinds of fish. Like, these are only... Like, there are many planets I found which do not have these, like, really tiny fish, but when they are on that planet, they really add to the atmosphere of the underwater areas. That's just what I think, though. I think it's cool. There should be... It's cool, and there should be more of these, fish things.
They gather in schools that number in the thousands. Silverfins are an appealing food source for aquatic predators.
The shark thing.
And
Yeah!
one such predator is lurking below. This silent, streamlined hunter is a saltwater reef stalker.
I love it.
The premier hunter of this global ocean.
Reef stalker.
Reef stalkers are themselves through the water.
No, where's a good shot of the thing? So if we go back, like there we go. Here's a good shot. If you look, they kind of have a similar body plan to the silverfins. If you look at that, like, that makes me wonder: are they like closely related? Like, are they a closely related group? That's what makes me want. That's what I wonder. Like, if they're closely related creatures, and like the silverfins split off and were like smaller predators, or like small plants or fish or something, and then the reef stalkers. Excuse me. The reef stalkers then. Excuse me. 1 second. 1 second. Excuse me. But yes, it makes me wonder if the reef stalkers are closely related to the silverfins, and like they split off, and these guys became more like a top predator in the ocean. That's what I wonder about.
Silent, streamlined, bountiful waters, every day is a feast.
I want every day to be a feast.
Like Earth sharks, this reef stalker ultimately isn't that interested in taking a bite out of me.
Very, very appreciative of him talking about like they don't want to take a bite out of him. Like these creatures aren't out to get him. I really appreciate that in any sort of like nature related anything.
All the same, I'd feel safer with some extra. At the bottom of the largest trench on
Oh
planet
my
Nehrus,
gosh.
something mysterious is waiting. A bright light emanates from the eye of a strange organism growing from a wall. Exiting my submarine, I move in closer, only to be caught in a hypnotic vortex of light.
That's interesting, because he's covering the abyssal horrors, I think they're called. And like, the thing is, like, I don't usually cover like the stuff that's on every planet in my videos, because again, they're on every planet. In the Amanogawa lore, what I think is that they're just invasive species from the homeworlds of the various intelligent species in the galaxy, like the Viking Gekkorbaks. So I don't usually cover them because they're not specific to that planet. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I want to see what he does with this, because since I haven't covered it yet, I haven't seen, or I don't know what he's gonna do. I am hopefully gonna one day make a video on invasive species in the No Man's Sky universe, but that's for another day.
Much like an Earth anglerfish,
I like that.
I suddenly feel that I've seen enough of planet Nehrus.
I love that. Okay, that's good. I love it.
Fortunately, I know just the place to get some more.
Oh, is he gonna cover the intelligent species? Oh, this could be interesting.
This strange geometric construction is a space station, a common sight in this part of the cosmos.
Where's he going with this?
They function almost like intergalactic truck stops and are open to all kinds of space fares run by the diminutive Gek, one of the primary sentient species in this region of space.
And also happens to be my favorite intelligent species in No Man's Sky, just saying.
They're organized and rather pragmatic beings. I won't press it.
No, I think I would love to make a video one day going on, like, my take on, like, the speculative biology of the various races in No Man's Sky, particularly the Gek. Because they're, like, I think they're the most interesting biologically. Like, the Korvax are interesting, but they're technically just big robots, let's be honest. No offense to the Korvax, but, these guys, what really strikes me is they feel like they're just, like, walking sea turtles. And, like, they're even, like, talked about, they have pools. Like, in the lore, they have, like, spawning pools. So, I feel like historically they probably had a large emphasis on water in their culture. But we'll get, that's for another video, again.
All sorts of different species pass through this particular station. Some, like the mysterious Korvax,
Like I was saying.
appear to be entirely artificial.
Like I said.
How these inorganic life forms ship refueled, the time is right to return to our voyage.
I love how he took a minute to just pause and talk about that. I really like that. I appreciate that. That makes me think maybe there's more I could do with my videos. Like maybe there's some kind of like lore or whatever I could fit into it. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to think about that on my own.
Planet Helios orbits extremely close to its star.
Again, I love the filmography. The name is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I love the filmography. Look at like how he's got like the rainbow like lens flare at the edge of the shots, and there's the sun. I love it. He is great at this. This is amazing. I love this. I love this.
Making it a world of blistering temperatures. Entering the atmosphere,
oh my gosh,
a sun-scorched landscape of ash and smoke awaits. Only a few barren plants are able to take root in this infernal biosphere.
I love it.
I don't expect to find much life here.
I want to cover one of these planets, because this is a certain type of planet I've found that's like really molten and volcano-y. I want to cover one of these one day in Monogawa. Let's see what he does with this.
But life is nothing if not stubborn.
Amen.
A few persistent or the curious defense against the heat. Like the sea pangolins of the Indian Ocean, they incorporate mineral sulfides into their hide like a kind of fire-resistant second skin.
I love how he's incorporating that. Like, if you didn't know, there's a kind of snail. I think this is what he's talking about, but there's a kind of snail that, like, will incorporate metal. It'll, like, eat, I guess, and incorporate metal into its shell that to help defend itself. And I love how he's incorporated that. That's just what I love doing, just like incorporating a real life stuff into this speculative biology. I think that's really cool. He's really good at this. He is really good at this. Like I said, if you have not yet checked out Curious Archive, please stop watching this video and go do it, and then come back, please. But just go check it out. He's awesome. Just please. He's a really cool YouTuber. Curious Archive, again, if you're watching this, you are amazing. You are doing great. Keep doing you. We love you. You're great. Keep doing this. This is amazing.
Allowing ichneobeasts to survive in this volcanic wasteland. Ichneobeasts are also excellent tunnelers.
The claws. I love how he got the tunnel. That's cool.
Allowing them to dig for edible roots and underground aquifers. It's an
whoa! Digging for underground. That is a genius. That's genius. That's something I wouldn't have thought of. Like, you know, like there's underground, like, sources of water. Like, isn't there that, like, large... What is that? There's, like, a large water cave under the United States. There's this large, like, aquifer, like, thing... There's like a large underground lake, like under the Midwest in the United States, and there's stuff like that, like underground water sources and stuff. So that's a genius idea. That like they dig looking for water. I love that. That is beautiful, ingenious. I love it.
Extreme life, but a life all the same.
Oh, look, a bird.
And speaking of extreme.
Striders are... Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, sorry, I hate to keep pausing it, but I just want to say Striders are what did I just do? Are easily my favorite No Man's Sky creature variation by far. Like I love them. They're the most alien looking of them. They're really unique, and I just love them. I love how slender they are. I just like striders. Just want to get to say that.
That was a Helios strider, a titanic life form. Beasts, these omnivores feed primarily on buried plant matter, sticking their heads underground to get a meal.
I love that, how he, like, incorporated the, like, how it, like, bent down and dug into the ground. It's like it's ostrich, like he's about to say, an ostrich, like, sticking its head in the ground and, like, looking for, I love this. This is beautiful. I love how he incorporates, like, even just, like, things that, like, just seem like stuff that, like, like, I'd think most people don't even really notice. Like, just, like, how a creature just, so, like, this random creature sticks his head into the ground or does this or that, and then incorporates that and makes, like, a biology thing about it. I love it. This is beautiful. Is it obvious I like this yet?
It's a somewhat awkward behavior that calls to mind how ostriches look when burying Bereas live short, sweaty lives under the uncaring sun, rarely getting enough food to stave off hunger.
Like I said, I really like how he words these things. Like, look at how he's... I like crag spines live short, sweaty lives under the uncaring sun, rarely getting enough food for whatever he says next. For
sun, rarely getting enough food to stave off hunger.
Stave off hunger. Just the words he uses, like stave, sweaty lives, uncaring sun. It really paints a picture. It's beautiful. I love the words he uses. I love this. He's great.
Harsh existence for a harsh sphere and flying below the clouds, I discover a hidden paradise is waiting.
Ooh.
With a temperate climate and abundant vegetation, experiment like never before.
Look at the birds.
And here's one such experiment now.
The blob.
My goodness. This is it's difficult.
I love how he laughs. Like, listen to him.
And now, my goodness. This is it's difficult to think of a name.
I love his reaction. Like puts a little bit of humanity into this, into like his. I mean, not that he's not human, of course, but like it puts just a little bit of like it kind of just reminds you he's not just this bodiless voice that's floating omnipotently over everything. He's just like he's still a human recording. I love that. It's beautiful.
We'll call them George.
I'll call them George. Oh god, this is not good for this. This is not good for my cold. Oh no.
It's difficult to think of a name. I'll call them George. The Georges appear to...
Okay, that's good. That's good. I love it. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
To be herbivores, with mouths located on the underside of their bodies. To feed, Georges simply move across the rich carpet of vegetation that covers the planet, essentially functioning like living lawnmowers.
This is my favorite creature so far. I love it. But honestly, like blobs, sort of like hopping blobs, they're honestly the most difficult creatures for me to think about and like name, but he has knocked it out of the park. This is beautiful, and the comedy, I love this. This is beautiful.
System of locomotion is easy to dismiss the Georges as some sort of biological misadventure, yet all forms of life, no matter how bizarre, are their own sort of miracle.
Amen.
In the skies above planet Erebus, something remarkable is passing.
Okay, so I just want to take a moment to talk about these things. These are, I think, these are called proto-flyers. This sort of creature, and I love them. These are really beautiful, really derpy, really alien creatures, and that's what I really love. Like finding the really alien creatures.
Overhead, these are aeroderms, a remarkable form of floating life.
They look like elephants. elephants. I love it, like flying elephant creatures.
They're held aloft by some kind of internal gas. It seems that extra precautions
Oh
were a
dear.
mistake. A horrifying mass of tentacles burst from the ground, grasping at the air close to me. This subterranean terror cannot be seen in full, so I'll simply call them nightmares.
I love that. I mean, I would have... Maybe I would have gone with a little more nuance to the name, but I think that's a really cool idea. Since you can't really see it fully, you just called it, like, nightmares or something. That's cool.
Without being able to see the rest of these life forms, yet with the night, a deep calm settles over this...
I will say again, how his cinematography is beautiful. Like, look at this shot. Look at that, just how he pans. And, like, let me go back. Let me go back.
Yep.
Just look at this shot. Just look at this shot. Isn't this beautiful? This, I don't know how these are beautiful shots. I love this. Really, he's a really talented man. If you please just go check out his channel, like right now. Do it.
Sweet feeling to know our voyage is the team behind this project have done an admirable job expanding this procedural universe.
They have.
I'm excited to know.
You know, just put round of applause for Hello Games while we're at it. Just this Hello Games. Really talented company. They've just they've launched the game and had a very rocky start, yet somehow it has redeemed itself into one of the best, honestly one of the best games I've ever played. And I loved playing it even just not long after it first came out, because just of like all the creatures. Eventually I got bored of it because of just what didn't have much back then, but then I've come back to it and I loved it so much. Not only am I playing it like almost daily now, but I've made this YouTube channel. Round of applause for Hello Games. Another round of applause. Hello Games is just beautiful. He's beautiful company. If anyone from Hello Games is watching this, just hats off to you. You have done a miracle. This is one of the best games of all time. This is great. I love this. I love your game. This is just amazing.
What comes next? And as always, thanks for watching.
All right, so the video's over. What's in the last 30 seconds?
You enjoyed this entry,
yeah, just subscribe, you know, just general stuff. Yeah, you know, if you want to subscribe, okay, no, please go subscribe. If you like this video of his, not my video specifically, but his video, go subscribe to his channel. He does wondrous stuff. Not only he covers like video games and stuff and like movies and like the speculative biology of like various worlds. Comes up with his own stuff sometimes, and then he'll cover like other speculative biology projects across the web, like Serena, which is another one of my favorites, and he does them. Just go watch if you're interested in like life or speculative biology at all. Go check out his channel. It's amazing. Please do. It's awesome. It's great. I love it. Please just go check it out. But yeah, closing thoughts. What was I? First of all, we gotta address the elephant in the room. George. All hail George. Everybody loves George. I love. That was hilarious. He's such a like serious demeanor about it. And then he just calls this thing. He's got like oh, we've got like the silver fins and like the reef stalkers, and then George. This is beautiful. I love this video. This is hilarious. And also I love how he like ties like the bits of the creatures in the game to real life, like with the ostrich here. Like I love how he like does that. I really love how he like took a minute to stop and talk about the space stations and like the intelligent races. I love that, and I really also appreciate how he went to such lengths to make sure that these creatures didn't come off as monsters, which is always a good thing in any sort of nature related media. And this is a really fun video. I really liked it. This is fun, and I think this will be great. Maybe Maybe I'll make a dedicated video going over, like, certain speculative biology parts of, like, his planets. If I could... Maybe I'll make a video dedicated to this, but this is just my random reaction. I really liked how he goes over... This is just, like... I really like how he incorporated the spines of the dread tooth into its biology. And I like that. I love the... Again, I love the cinematography. And... He's really talented. This is really cool. He's really talented. Or if he's doing this with a team, the team is really talented. This is great. I really love it. This is just... I don't know what else to say. This is just a really good video, really fun, and, you know, this is really cool. So, if you haven't yet, please go watch... I should have said it at the beginning of the video, but go watch his video on this, like, right now. Just go watch that video through. At least click on the link below to give him the view, because he deserves it. But preferably watch through the whole video. But just go click on the click the link below. Just go watch his video. Go check out his channel. It's awesome. But yeah, there's that. So yeah, I guess there's not much else to say. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, listening to my inane babble, to quote Gandalf. And just me rambling on and on. I'm just a very sort of person, and just thank you for watching. Thank you to Curious Archive for just making this gem of a video and just making your channel in general. We love it. And just thank you for everything. And just, well, I guess that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.